Hey everybody, welcome to another Hel Talk. It's just going to be me today. I got a couple things that I just wanted to exhale into the universe. That's not a phrase. Anyway, first thing on the docket is it's the past. It's the past. It's Collector's Trove and the opening experience of that set, as well as the trading and selling experience. So, Collector's Trove, as we all know, was effectively a mini set. The chases came in at like set number 40 something, as opposed to 60, 70, 80 as they normally would. So very small set, and because the set was so small, they had oh man, I should really start having things in front of me before I start recording, but I think they only had I forgot how many super rares in the set. Let's see. Let's go and figure that out right now. 1, 2. I'm not counting primes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8. 8 super rares and then 2 primes. So there's only 8 super rares in the set, and they expanded the bricks to 12 boosters. So I think we would all agree that the hope for a 12 booster brick would be to include either an additional super rare, so 4 super rares as opposed to the typical 3 in a brick, or guarantee like a chase and a prime, because I don't think most of us would feel like it's worthwhile to get a 10 or a 10 booster brick, open it up and you get, okay, here's your chase or prime, and then your 3 super rares. And then we're going to go to 12 boosters now, and we're going to give you the exact same thing. So you're just going to get 2 extra rares. I don't think many of us would be on board with that as the new standard. Like I said, unfortunately for Collector's Trove, they only have 8 super rare slots, and this means that if they put an additional super rare into each brick, then people purchasing a sealed case would either get duplicate super rares, or they would end up with all of the super rares. Again, we're not counting primes, but again, primes also come in they take up different slots when it comes to distribution and the packing list of bricks and cases and whatnot. So, but that's a whole nother conversation. But WizKids was kind of stuck giving us 3 super rares in a brick again, because the set was so small, and I think they realized that if they gave us an extra super rare, most players would just end up purchasing less product because they would complete the set so much quicker. So even with, for a lot of people, even though they didn't give us an extra super rare, I think we still had the experience of people that opened, a brick, a case, or potentially more than that. You completed the common, uncommon, rare sets insanely quickly. Most bricks had a complete common, uncommon, rare set. I don't know if I may have seen one brick that didn't, and maybe it was just shy a single piece. But if you purchased a case, you definitely, unless it was a duplicate brick, you definitely had a complete cur from a single case, which is usually that's usually how it goes for a lot of sets. But it was that the fact that not only did you have a complete cur, but you sometimes had a duplicate set of a cur at that point. Which didn't feel bad when we were opening the set. You're like, okay, I have doubles of pretty much all the lower rarity stuff. And for a good chunk of players, we also had every single super rare that opened, like I said, 2 to 3 bricks. So it felt pretty good that for the most part, after that, we only needed a couple, chases if you were missing the one that you were looking for. Not to mention the fact that there was God packs in the set, which I will never understand why God packs in a HeroClix set are mysteries until the set releases and people find them. I don't understand why that's not an advertised. That's a selling point of a set, but again, that's a whole other thing. I don't know why WizKids will never let us know that God packs are in sets. I mean, they did. I think they did for what was it? Was it Notorious with Black Lanterns? Did they let us know about God packs in that set? They did. They did one time for one set. It might have been that, but then ever since then they don't tell us about God packs. They don't tell us about Ultra Chases. They don't tell It's like they just I don't know why they don't announce these things to give people a better idea of what they're purchasing, especially when during pre-order season. Let's get back to the point here. So a lot of people very quickly completed basically the entire factory set for the most part, aside from a couple chases of Collector's Trove very quickly. Felt pretty good because, at least from my perspective, I didn't have to open as much product to complete the set. But again, it makes sense because the set is so small, right? Okay, blah, 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 blah. So opening experience felt pretty good, but I think that turned sour pretty quickly because of the trading and selling experience. Because you very quickly realize, like, oh, I opened everything in the set. And so did everybody else. So commons, uncommons, and rares are virtually untradeable, unsellable. And of course, there's going to be exceptions to every rule, but for the purpose, there might be somebody. Oh, I wanted 100 Kree soldiers. Like, okay, well, dude, come on. But no one needs, an eighth. I don't know. No one needs an 8th White Widow. You know what I mean? So none of the lower rarity stuff is tradable. Even some of the generics and some of the the decent generics like Swarm of Ants and, like I said, like the Kree stuff. That nobody's looking for because everybody has them. Yeah, and everybody's got a lot of them. So in terms of secondary market value, that's zero. And then, as I mentioned before, a lot of the super rares that people are looking for, which are the ones that have equipment and then the equipment that's good. But most everybody has those. So it's difficult trading most of the super rare pieces from that set as well. I should probably just say more difficult. It's not impossible, but it very quickly felt like everybody had everything. And the only things that people were looking for from that set were bystanders from the chase boosters. And that's it. And then what are people trying to get for those bystanders? Money, because cash. Because there's nothing in the set that they would want to trade for. Because they already got the God pack. So they got all the gauntlet people. and they got their, Dr. Doom or whatever, and it's potentially maybe an Ultra Chase collector is what they're looking for, but that's really it. I don't. So it again, it was a good opening experience because you're like, wow, I got everything really. Like, everybody else also has everything. So if I am missing something, it's very difficult to trade right away for something. And of course, I'm not saying it's impossible. It was very obviously more difficult to trade stuff from Collector's Trove, and we see that when it comes to, I would say actually probably even more difficult to sell things. Trading maybe is definitely easier than selling for Collector's Trove, but yeah, selling things was. I mean, again, unless you're selling an Ultra Chase collector, it felt like you had to be scraping the bottom of the barrel for prices. I mean, I remember when super rares that came with really good equipment were like $50, and now people are selling them for 15 because again, everybody has them. You're hard pressed to find someone who doesn't already have one and is willing to pay for it. And this is again on top of booster bricks going up. So the odds, of an individual pack pull of actually getting a super rare from this set are lower than before. But and then booster prices are what, $17, $18 MSRP, or I think it's $16.99 or something, some insane. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, yeah. So again, it was Collector's Trove was I think it was a good set, had a lot of great stuff in it. Opening the set felt good, but man, if you were getting this set and hoping to flip it for money, or trying to think to yourself, oh yeah, I'll just, even though I got a bunch of extras, I'll just sell them. It's like, oh well, everybody else has a bunch of extras, my guy, so good luck selling them for anything. It's pennies on the dollar is what you're getting. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, hey, if you didn't purchase Collector's Trove as a set, if you didn't purchase any sealed product, man, this was awesome for you. I mean, you were getting primes for $5, and I mean, you could get the entire curve for practically free. I mean, because everybody has so many extras of them. It's ridiculous. But yeah, let's jump into then the most recent set, the Spider-Verse set, and what people are thinking about when they're opening that set. So I personally haven't opened any bricks or cases of that set. I have a bunch of product, but I'm using it for prize support for the Omega Bling Bash, which I don't know, maybe I'll talk about in a little bit, but what we've seen from Spider-Verse is what I mentioned before about WizKids potentially adding an additional super rare into the booster bricks because they're going up to 12 boosters now. They didn't do that. So, and let me count the number of super rares here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10. Yeah, I mean, it's about the same. But it still would have been nice, I think. The point is that, yeah, people are opening bricks, and some people are getting reasonably disappointed because they've paid for 2 additional packs, and all they got was 2 additional rares. So I can with that. And again, because people are getting more rares, That's all they're getting from this additional product, or these 2 additional boosters. The value of that cur is going down because there's more of it. That's all WizKids is doing by seems that's all WizKids is doing by adding the 2 additional boosters to bricks by going from 10 to 12, is that there's just more cur in the wild. So cur becomes less valuable and more difficult to trade, probably impossible to sell and very difficult to trade. So that's the trend we're seeing, which isn't. It's not. I don't think it's a positive thing. I really think WizKids should. I don't think they'd be shooting themselves in the foot if they went guaranteed chase and prime and 3 super rares in every brick. I think they would be completely fine with that formula moving forward, because that's the other problem that we're seeing a lot with Spider-Verse, is that people are opening bricks and cases and they're not getting a single prime, which I don't understand why you would, from the standpoint of WizKids, why you would create a packing list for bricks or cases, especially cases, right? If they're doing the thing of like, oh, you might get a prime, maybe not, in one of the bricks from the case, but if they're making a factory, pull list or packing list, and they're not including a prime when it comes to a sealed case, I feel like that's just another example on the long list of examples of WizKids failing to review their packing lists before they send them to the factory. And if for some reason the no prime cases are intentional, then that seems like a dick move by WizKids' part. I don't understand why you would want to disappoint your customers like that, especially when the player base that you have is so invested in the game and is so loyal. I mean, again, if you wanna make money, WizKids, look at how many Kongs you sold and understand why Kong made you that much money. Okay? Terrible cur pieces and selling 2 extra packs of them per brick is not going to make you more money long term than making pieces like Kong. Okay? I don't think I have to explain why that's the case, but anyway, so Spider-Verse, like I said, not very good from an opening experience, it feels like. From some people. Some people just love Spider-Man, and any piece that has the word on it, they will lose their marbles for. So that being said, I will say that the Spider-Man set, while overall I'm not enthralled by it, I mean, there's a couple pieces that I would be interested in trying out when it comes to like a competitive standpoint, but I think it has a lot of solid pieces for the pulp format. I think the Spider-Man set is going to change the pulp format in a good. I think there's a lot of viable options for that format in this set, and I don't think any of them are going to cause as much issues or need to get banned. For example, like something like Necron or anything. So I think there's a lot of good options. So fingers crossed that pulp changes for the better because of this set. Pulp is already kind of on life support because it's a format that gets solved very, very quickly. And so I'm hoping that this set provides more than 1 to 2 viable teams when it comes to high level competitive play in the pulp format. But we'll see. Jumping back to when I said that may have not included primes in Spider-Verse cases on purpose. I was kind of joking, but in another in another sense, I might not be, because WizKids, turns out WizKids, instead of admitting to us, their customers, the player base, instead of admitting to us, hey guys, we accidentally gave the wrong packing instructions, to the factory. And because you might not get the intended product that we wanted you to get. And I understand how difficult that may be to hear, and how disappointing that may be for right now. But we're going to try to make it up to you in the following ways. So they did that. If you remember, they kind of did that with Kevin, but that's only when we kind of like we as the player base turned as like the IRS, and we audited them. Kevin's not in these boosters. They were all sent to Italy. So, but it turns out that WizKids would, like I said, would rather this obvious mistake that we made was actually intentional, and and we planned it this way, and too bad, so sad, go pound sand. And what do I mean? Chase boosters, and we're kind of jumping back here to Collector's Trove, but chase boosters for Collector's Trove. So we saw a lot of chase boosters being opened from Collector's Trove, and in a lot of them, I don't know about a lot of them, but a good amount of them had Prime Namor inside of them. And Prime Namor, as you know, in the Collector's Trove main set, if you open them in a booster, you get the Serpent Crown equipment. And the Serpent Crown equipment in the Namor sculpt is in his hands. So the regular Namor in his hands has the Cosmic Cube, and therefore he comes with the Cosmic Cube equipment. And the Prime Namor has the Serpent Crown in his hands and comes with the Serpent Crown equipment. Makes sense, right? That's how things should work. But unfortunately, if you opened Prime Namor in a chase booster, it came with the Cosmic Cube. Uh-oh. Obviously a mistake, right? So from the standpoint of WizKids, when you see that, if you are WizKids and you see that, what do, right? You probably should say, hey guys, we messed up, and we're going to be doing an exchange program again. We're going to make another run of Serpent Crowns, right? So if you show up to any of these events, and there'll be a list of them or whatever throughout the year, and you bring a Cosmic Cube equipment with its card, you can exchange it for a Serpent Crown equipment with its card. Oh, okay, makes sense, right? Of course, this would cost a little bit on the from WizKids, but it would certainly cost less than the Kevin exchange program did. Cost a lot less to make a Serpent Crown equipment than it would an actual Kevin figure. I mean, just the amount of plastic is so much less. The weight is so much less. It's easier to ship, everything. So it'd be a very easy exchange program. You wouldn't even need to have people um, like sign up for it and stand in line for it, because there wouldn't be an incentive. There might be, but there definitely wouldn't be as much of an incentive for players to hoard up cosmic cubes in order to exchange them for serpent crowns. It's not like you're gonna um you know you're gonna buy a cosmic cube for $5 and then turn around and try to sell just the serpent crown equipment for double that, or what. I mean, it's like, what? It wouldn't make sense, right? It makes sense for the Kevin exchange program. That made sense because people could exchange any chase from Disney Plus and exchange it for a Kevin, right? So come on, people could just get every single chase that they ever opened and exchange it for a Kevin. And aside from maybe Khonshu or in the other Egyptian gods, but other than that, yeah, anything else you can exchange for a Kevin. Like, no, well, that's just a way to kind of like print money from a secondary market standpoint. And they don't want players doing that. They would rather have everybody get one. But in this case, if they made an exchange program that just said, look, yeah, Cosmic Cube for Serpent Crown, that's exactly what we're doing. You need exactly Cosmic Cube, and we're going to give you exactly Serpent Crown. That's it. It's not bring in any super rare. It's bring in the wrong equipment that we gave you, and we'll give you the right one. Yeah, that would have been a pretty good idea. But this is WizKids, and they definitely don't like spending extra money. So what do they do instead? WizKids says, actually, no. That's what you're supposed to get. We put Cosmic Cube in there on purpose, and that's it. And you're like, huh? So you would rather admit that you're like stupid? That's it? That's what WizKids would rather do. They would rather admit, like, we are stupid. We put in the wrong equipment on purpose because we're stupid. That's what we did. Instead of admitting to their mistake and correcting it. I wish I could explain the rationale for that, because it was obvious a mistake. Anybody arguing otherwise is stupid. It's just as stupid as WizKids is for not fessing up, not owning up to this mistake, and giving people an option to come in and make an exchange and correct for it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they won't do that. Well, I know why they won't do that, because it's going to cost them more money. But I don't see why. I guess maybe because they already assume that all of their loyal players know that they're stupid already, or have the perception that they're stupid already. So therefore, doing something this stupid won't tarnish their reputation, because it's going to be in line with the expectations of the players. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas here, but it's definitely not a good outcome. Especially when it comes to chase boosters. I mean, chase boosters are supposed to be the most exclusive prize that you can get, and now they're coming with incomplete characters and equipment. So, I mean, go figure. Went up, and boy, that would have been a really good opportunity for them to make an exchange. Serpent crowns for cosmic cubes, wouldn't it? But instead they're going to have Deathlok on sale. And what is Deathlok? Why does Deathlok exist? Well, so Deathlok exists to counter Carnage Silver Surfer. Yeah, you heard that right, folks. Deathlok exists to counter Carnage Silver Surfer, the rotated modern piece that's now in silver and was banned. And yeah. Why the hell is this piece coming out so late? And to be clear, I don't think this piece is a bad piece at all, but it was very clearly designed to counter a piece, or really a set of pieces, but a piece, and for it to long after that piece was rotated out of modern age doesn't seem like the logistics of WizKids and their scheduling of release dates is well thought out. And of course, some of my old guffaw like Wiz doesn't have well planned out release dates. Just look at their sets. They don't even know when sets are going to come out. Like, they were shipping out Spider-Verse during the pre-release of Collector's Trove. They have no idea what's going to come out. Blah blah blah. Okay, yeah. But I'm talking. This is convention exclusive LEs. This is not an entire set of HeroClix. This is one fucking piece, man. Like, if you can't figure out how to release one piece, then I mean that's a but yeah, and we're seeing, we're like a quarter of the way, almost a quarter of the way during Adepticon. We're going to be a quarter of the way into the year, and we're still receiving LEs with a set number that includes 24, meaning that this piece was designed and intended to be released in 2024. Why? Again, I mean, the answer is because WizKids doesn't have their shit together, but I don't understand. These are singular pieces. They don't have to be balance tested, within an entire set and to make sure and blah blah. It's just one piece. You give a freaking point value and get it out. And WizKids they're doing less and less, separate events every year because they're so dedicated, loyal to this game that the community is taking over, and they're running events better than WizKids ever could. So while I do appreciate, WizKids going to things like Adepticon, we're seeing very quickly that the Championship Clicks, series, and the event that just happened in Florida, this past weekend, and that's gonna outshine Worlds probably by next year. I would say by next year, that's going to be the biggest HeroClix event of the year. It's probably going to be bigger than Worlds. Worlds might get more attendance in terms of pure numbers, but I think in terms of the volume of HeroClix and prizes that are given out, I think that the Championship Clicks Open is going to be the largest HeroClix event by next year. But again, this is just my prediction. So WizKids is giving their typical convention exclusive prizes to the community, like to the Championship Clicks, the IC regionals and the Open. So why hasn't WizKids been running their own events like that? It's because they don't have the manpower, and they just have to outsource everything to volunteer communities, and which is, again, it's fine, but the fact that it's the fact that they're not doing the events, they're letting other people do the events, and then the only thing they have to focus on now in terms of the exclusive figures is to just get them. You don't have to plan all these events all over the country. People will do that by themselves. Just get the freaking figures, get the prize kits put together on time, and people will buy them and run events with them. So again, why are we still getting 2024 and the first time they've ever been revealed, 2024 convention exclusives, or just LE exclusives, whatever you want to call them, a quarter into 2025. That's not really acceptable. You should, so I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. It just I don't know. Just makes me think. I mean, and then there are still stuff that was revealed last year that still hasn't come out yet in any convention. Some of the other apocalypse figures like Kanto or whatever his name is. Is it Kanto? Let me look it up. Kanto. Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Year 24. Still not out. And he's not. I don't think he's not going to be out at Adepticon. Don't understand. When are they planning on releasing this 2024 figure? Like in Worlds 2025. They're almost and they're going to be an entire year behind. I mean, or they're probably going to release them in nationals, but still, they're like an entire year behind for their LE release schedule, and that's concerning. Like, are they just going to skip 2025 in terms of like the set number? Are they going to skip 25 and just go straight to 26? Because it doesn't, at this rate, it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting many 2025 at least printed set number 25 on LEs this year. So yeah, but man, is this talk getting like depressing? Everything I'm talking about is just like, ugh, this is bad. Like I said, Collector's Trove opening experience was pretty good for like 5 minutes until you went online and realized everybody else had everything. First turn immunity got changed. Got better. First turn immunity got better. What does that mean for the game? So, thanks to, and again, I should have had it up in front of me, but we regularly, for those that are in the Facebook groups, you regularly see like ELO rankings and just overall summary statistics of games that are played in bigger events. And one of the things that we see are the win rates just overall, depending on if a player goes first or second. And we see that overall, there's roughly a 60% chance of winning if you go first currently in HeroClix. So what does that mean now that first turn immunity is stronger than it used to be? Well, first turn immunity only helps the first player. So if something that only helps the first player is now better than it was before, this would own that the overall win rate of the first player can only go up, right? If first turn immunity is better than it used to be, then the first player isn't going to lose more often. That doesn't make any sense. If more things are immune on turn one, then that's better for first player, and first player is going to lose less often. So if there was ever a game previously where first player had to break immunity with one of their characters in order to reposition or to do something, to develop something, to set up something for their turn 2 Alpha Strike, and by doing so broke first turn immunity, and then in response to that, player 2 Alpha Striked the character or characters that broke immunity and didn't have the immune keyword anymore, and Alpha Strike those characters, them potentially scored them, and ended up winning the game because of that, no longer exist. That's, you know what I mean? So all this does is potentially increase the rate at which player run more often. So um, I I understand why they made this change, because there were a lot of people and a lot of effects currently in the game that made it confusing as to whether or not a character should, and I put that in air quotes, should still have the immune Q phrase. Um, I mean, one of the most typical examples is, before it was like, oh, um, yeah, I'm using butterfly and I'm swapping, I'm replacing butterfly with something. Uh, Actually, I don't know if butterfly did it. Scratch that point. No, it would probably still do that, because typically, like, things at the beginning of the game that were like generated, or uh, things that were brought into the game during the beginning of game phase, um, they didn't have immune. Um, and or things like, for example, uh, I mean, they rotated out of modern and they were banned in silver already, but the Masters of Evil chase line. Uh, so if you were playing that chase line and you replaced any of those characters on your first turn with another character, that character wouldn't have immunity, because they weren't, they didn't start on the map and all that stuff. Um, but I don't know. Either way, again, the point is, per Degaton, all this stuff. It's just, there were so many fringe cases where people are like, oh, it feels like this character should still be immune, but they're not technically, because they were like replaced, or they were replaced by Perdegaton, or they were like multi-base in place with Perdegaton, and all this stuff. So I totally understand why they made this change, because they just wanted to clean up all of that language, clean up all of those fringe situations. When I say fringe situations, not that Perdegaton in itself, Perdegaton is not a fringe situation, but it's a fringe effect in terms of he's the only thing that can do what he does and replace, characters um, after game setup. But so again, I totally get why kids did it, but the result is only that first immunity is better than it was before. What is that going to mean for the game? I mean, some things that just came to my mind right away were a colloquially known as Chair Panther, the Legacy Black Panther. Um, we see a lot of folks playing him with another character that has improved movement, destroys blocking, and they will play the Vibranium terrain marker. So they'll have that character run through the Vibranium potentially multiple times, getting several Vibranium tokens to their sideline. And in traditionally, that was even done on turn one, because it would give, now Black Panther has a bunch of Vibranium on the sideline now, basically every single turn for the entire game. When a game only lasts 3 or 4 turns, every turn for the entire game, Black Panther will be able to remove an action token from any friendly character on the map. So again, typically the trade-off was that you had to break immunity with the character that's doing that, and now you no longer have to. So you can run through it a couple times and then end your movement back in your starting area, and that character will still have immune. You'll still have Vibranium tokens, and you can immediately remove the action token that you just put on the character that ran the Vibranium if you have to. Yeah, it's that's strong, from what I can tell. Um, but yeah, like I said, there's just a bunch of other effects of things that during beginning of game phase. You have King, Deadpool, and Elsa that generate Jeff. The Time Breaker bystander that generates the two Time Breakers. Uh, just anything that generates anything at the beginning of the game, those things are immune. If they end in the square that they were generated in or starting area, whatever. Um, so there's less potential for player two to be able to target anything on their first turn. So, which again, and it's kind of the point of first turn immunity is not to say like, well, I don't want to immediately die, but I don't know. It seems to me like I don't know. It's so tricky. Of how to balance first turn immunity, because I don't think right now there's a good way to balance it in the sense of in the sense how long it lasts for each player, which characters don't. It's just it's really tricky to figure out what the balance is, because I think the balance really lies more in the alpha strike potential of competitive teams. Maybe you recall when maps shrunk to the 16 by 16 size that they currently are, we were told that speed values and range increased significantly, and that alpha strike was going to be looked at very closely when it comes to balance, so that it's not too strong. And I mean, let's be honest, that didn't seem to happen at all. I don't see. I should step back and say, well, I do see characters with less, fewer speed values, fewer range values, all that stuff. It's never been easier to alpha strike in HeroClix. Potentially aside from Venom, Magneto, and Sky Tyrant days. I mean, I don't think it's ever been easier to alpha strike. With the exception of maybe it'll be easier to alpha strike when the nifty traffic barrel rotates out of modern after Worlds. It might get even easier to alpha strike then, but yeah, I think that first turn immunity, just as like a hot take kind of thing. I don't think first turn immunity can be changed in such a way that it becomes balanced. I think just there needs to be, like you said, when you look at the overall win rate of going first, winning about 60% of the time, that's only going to go up because of this change. It might not go up at all, but it can't go down. This is my point, so if it can't go down and it does change, that means it goes up. So if it goes up 60, 65, 70%, then now we're into like ridiculous territory. I think if you're winning 65% of the time by going first, that's not a balanced game anymore. I mean, it's being a theme team matters too much. So at that point, like I said, I think there probably have to be another fundamental change to benefits that the second player gets, other than the fact that they get to choose the map. But I don't know what those would be. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But like I said, yeah, that's it's exciting to see what potential changes teams might, I I don't know. I say that optimistically, but then when I say that the changes to first turn immunity just make some of the best teams in the game currently even better, it's very difficult to believe that anything new is going to appear. You know, when this change just makes the strongest teams even stronger, why experiment with anything else? You know? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens at Adepticon. I don't like the fact that Ultra Chase Collector seems to imply that if you got lucky and you got one, or if you got even luckier and a friend that lets you borrow one, then you pretty much automatically make top cut. But we'll see what happens. The Omega Bling Bash, yeah, that's happening in on the 22nd. We got over $3,000 of prize pool product to give out for that event. Look it up on HC Units. Omega Bling Bash. Let's see. That should come up when I go to the events page right now, and I'm just going to type Omega, OMEGA. I'm going to press enter, and bam, it comes up. It's the only thing that comes up. The Omega Bling Bash, Spring 2025, Hel Omega Bling Bash, $25 entry fee. The top 10 players win a sealed brick of Spider-Verse. It's a sealed format game, so very luck-based, but there are additional modern age sideline elements and equipment that you can purchase for an additional fee. We are benefiting several charitable organizations, one of them being the IPF, the International Player Foundation. It should be foundation. If it's fund, it's got to be foundation, right? I should know this. Ian, don't be mad at me. But we're benefiting the IPF, which is a HeroClix charity organization that aims to assist international players in attending the World Tournament. So very good. Very good with that. We're also trying to benefit HC Units. HC Units is a wonderful site. It's the site that we're using to run the event. It's the site that I believe everybody should use to run every event of HeroClix ever. Nothing against the win, but HC Units is better than the win. Let's see. What else are we doing here? There it is. I'm trying to look for my picture here. Oh, we're benefiting the community healthcare clinic. That is, I'm not from Central Illinois, but I'm going to be driving a few hours to get there. But let's community healthcare clinic. It's in normal, like the difficulty that you play when hardcore gets too sweaty. It's in Normal, Illinois, in McLean County. Let's go to their website and see their mission here. Providing quality health care to McLean County's medically underdeserved residents through the operation of a free clinic. Absolutely fantastic cause. Can't wait to raise a whole bunch of money for these charitable organizations, for these causes. I really care about the health of this game, really care about the health of this community, and I really care about the health of everybody's community. So hopefully by running these bling bashes, by benefiting these charitable organizations, many of which directly impact the health and the care and the happiness and the morale of our community, I think we can be a force for good. So consider going to hcunits.net. Going and clicking on that events tab, going to upcoming events, type Omega, OMEGA, like the fish oil. Type that in the search bar, search it up, bam, the spring 2025 Hel Omega Bling Bash. Like I said, top 10 players win a sealed brick of Spider-Verse. The top 2 players will have championship chains. It wouldn't be a bling bash if I didn't give out some bling. There's going to be raffles for a variety of prizes, such as additional sealed bricks of HeroClix, factory sets of HeroClix, and plenty of other prizes, which may or may not be HeroClix related at all. If you've ever been to any of our Bling Bash events in the past, you will know that a lot of the prizes that we give out don't relate to HeroClix. I mean, we've given out air fryers in the past. We've given out sports tickets. We've given out TVs. We've given out plenty of stuff. So this is not an event that you would want to miss if you have the opportunity to attend. Definitely look it up. Definitely look over the description. If you have any questions about it, you know who I am. You can message me on Facebook, message me on Discord at General Sergeant. And let's see. I'll do it. This Hel podcast is brought to you by Nut Butter. Nut Butter is, I think, a Cliff Bar. Let's see. Nut Butter Cliff Bar. I'm going to try to get a description of it. Let's see. Nut Butter. The peanut butter Cliff Bar. Smooth, creamy peanut. Let's try this again. Nut Butter. Peanut butter Cliff Bar, smooth, creamy, peanut butter filling gives this organic snack bar a taste worth going nuts over. If you've never had nut butter in your mouth, you're going to want to put it there. Get that chocolate flavor. It's the best one.